before and after.
In this video, we are gonna be polishing a car, and for me, it's the first time ever. And by the end of the video, I want to have polished my Mini Cooper S behind me. Before we even attempt a nice car, I'm going to practice on this Porsche hood, as well as some other door panels. And hopefully through that, we can show you what works and what really doesn't. Please make sure to like and subscribe, it's really appreciate it. My name is Ethan, and welcome to Car Creation. Before we start, we'd like to thank ETOOLAB for sending us their Rotary polisher. Without them, this video would not be possible, so please make sure to check out the links down below if you are interested in this. So we're gonna unbox this, but I also reached out to a detailer and they told us some tricks as well as some products to use. So we got this special wool polishing pad, which should do a really good job of cutting. And then we're gonna use this heavy cut compound for the wool pad, and then kind of this all-in-one compound for the final. Let's take a look inside this box and let's see what comes with the tool. All right, opening up. So there we go, they sent some pads with it, which is very nice. So we have the different polishing pads right here, the fine grit sandpaper, so you have to be careful of these though. And then here we have the different size discs. So we have a 150mm and this is a 180mm. And then we also have another wool pad and then a really big pad for doing large areas. And then finally, the most important thing is we have the ETOOLAB tool itself right here. So we're going to put this tool together, and then we're gonna start trying some things on our first panel. So before we get to the hood, we're gonna start on something really easy, and that is just a Mini Cooper door I found on a wreck. So here's the door right here, and what you need to do first is completely wash it down with not only just wash it, you also want to use a bar and clay to make sure you have no blemishes on the door. So we're gonna do that first to all these panels, and then we're going to get to work, start seeing if we can make some moves on this door panel. Now there's a lot of little micro scratches and it should remove those. And this should be pretty easy, so that's why I'm starting with it, because it's basically just some buffing and there's a few little micro scuffs on here that hopefully should come out. Okay, so I tried to get a good close-up of the scratches on here. It's actually kind of hard. So we have the polisher here. We just screw this on, push this button down and it will hold it steady, so then you can screw this on nice and tight. And basically there's a Velcro on it, so then you can go and put your pad onto the Velcro. Really make sure it's in the center, else you're gonna be in trouble, all right? We just have to dab some product on here and we get to work. And just like that, this thing looks absolutely fantastic. I love the difference that it made. It's actually super hard to show on camera, but all the little micro scratches are gone and it looks a lot better. I kind of just winged it before I did any of the research just to see if I could possibly mess it up. And I wouldn't say I did mess it up. There's still some imperfections in the paintwork, like there's still some of the deeper scratches, like this one right here. There's still the bits where basically it was right through to the metal. That didn't come out at all, I guess, obviously. Now this door panel came out so well, I'm gonna go over to the Porsche hood and we're gonna see to what extent this polishing can do. And I'm gonna talk to a detailer to see exactly what you're supposed to do, and this time we are going to do it properly. We're now gonna move over to the Porsche hood. So once again, first step is to completely wash this down. It has some plastic wrap on it and definitely is not in good condition. Turns out that these big stickers at the top are actually a lot harder to get off than I thought they would be. So for the sake of the video, we're not gonna spend all of our time trying to get them off. Instead, we're just gonna buff the areas that we can see. So what I learned from the other one is that we need as much light as possible. We have light on all sides, and now it's time for the pad and the ETOOLAB Rotary polisher. So I kind of knew I was making a mistake last time, but what you really want to do is make sure you find a pad the same size as the attachment you have on the polisher. We do have one, they sent it along in the kit. Find the area that you're doing and just gently, and then we can start. We're gonna turn this on. So that was what the first issue was that we ran into before. If you put too much here, it's gonna spray absolutely everywhere. So ETOOLAB sent an apron, which we are gonna wear, so we don't get this nice Car Creation shirt any more dirty than we have to. All right, so after many hours of trial and error, what actually made a difference? Well, first of all, make sure that you wash it. And not only just wash it, make sure that you do a very good job detailing the paint. And then you wanna make sure that you get in the right compound as well as pad. So if your paint has just the normal everyday swirl marks on it from washing your car or just, you know, living outside in the elements, use a polishing pad as well as medium cut compound. Got this all-in-one cutting compound and finishing polishing compound. So what you do is you put the pad onto your rotor, and then what you want to do is apply about 4 to 5 pea-sized drops onto the pad. I'm not very good, I always go way too big. Dab it across the panel because you want it evenly spread over the panel. And then you can turn it on, and I turn it on to about between 3 and 4, so a lower speed. I don't want to go too fast with this. The pad flat against the paint, and if I want to go one direction, I lift up and push down, lift up, work in rows and overlap around 50% of the previous one. What you can do is you can get even lighter pad, you can move the speed down or something like that. Between sessions, what I do is I get a cloth and I wipe it clean so I can then inspect the paint with a nice light to make sure that it's all looking good. Huge difference, it's looking a lot better, but this is where you would step it up. So if you still have some scratches that are not coming out, what you can do now is use a cotton pad. Over the section of the hood that has the deepest scratches, you really need to knead into the cotton pad the cutting compound. And the reason for that is that if you don't, it will start burning the paint. Turn up the speed a little bit, this time to 5 or 6. Now once you've done that, if the scratches are gone, you can go back down to the pad that you're using before, get out little swirls that this put in. Now, if you're like me and there are still some deep scratches, you can try one more thing. I wouldn't necessarily recommend this as I think you could probably wreck your paint. And that is a P2000 grit sandpaper. You can do it dry sanding or wet sanding. So we are gonna use the compound. I wouldn't necessarily recommend it, but let's see how it goes.
Oh no, I accidentally went right through to the metal. Well, guess I can tell you what not to do.
Did get rid of a lot of the scratches right there, so I'm just gonna go back to the harder cotton pad and let's see if we can fix this up a little bit. Obviously I can't fix that where I went to the paint, but maybe I could get rid of some of this. All right, so just like that, we not only got off all the micro swirls, we also got rid of some really deep scratches. I wouldn't recommend you use the sandpaper, but it did work pretty well once I figured out how to use it. And the secret was to have the rotary tool on the lowest setting. What you want to the end is something like this that has super clean mirror-like reflections and minimal haze. I'm looking at this, I can see my face reflected right back at me, as well as the test panel that we did over there. All right, so now that we've done the 2 test panels, it's time for the Mini itself. Now, once again, the paint isn't perfect on here, so I'm not gonna do anything too crazy. I'm going to wash the car once over with a finer pad, find the areas that weren't very good, go over that with the cotton pad. Once those areas are done, I'm gonna go back over with a finer pad and then finish with an ultra fine pad. We're gonna start at one panel at a time and slowly work our way around. And let's see if we can make this car look brand new. All right, so when you're actually working on the car, you really wanna make sure that you use tape to tape off any of the trim, else you will end up buffing the trim and it doesn't look quite as good when it's supposed to be textured. So we'll be using some tape to tape off all the trim, around the mirrors, on the chrome up here. And then what we're gonna do is tape off square sections for us to work on one at a time. So we put a lot of light onto this car so we can see what we're doing. And what we've done is sectioned it off into different areas that we're gonna work on. We're just gonna do the foam pad on this as kind of a test to see what the paint's looking like. And then if we are not getting everything that we need to get, we'll have to step it up and we'll do the cotton one across the entire panel before we start going back down and getting rid of all the little scratches. This car has more than 200,000 miles on this paint. There's a ton of rock chips and there are dents and there's scratches, and this doesn't work miracles, but it does make it look a lot better. So let's see what we can do. All right, so it's not perfect. Some slightly deeper scratches, so we are gonna have to go for the cotton pad. But there already is a huge difference. I happened to choose the hottest day of the year to do this. It's 37 degrees Celsius out there with very high humidity, so I'm sorry for how much I'm sweating. So what I did first of all was I went over with the medium foam pad and it did a great job. However, there are some deeper scratches still. So I took out the cotton pad and I went over a couple times with that. Looked a lot better. I did the roof, I did the mirrors. I actually tried doing the little black trim there and it turned out pretty well. Then I went back to the medium foam pad, went over a few times, and then finally to finish it off, I took out the ultra fine foam pad. Went over, all the swirls are out, and the paint is looking super deep and I love it. Obviously there's still a lot of rock chips and some scratches, but it's looking really good despite that. There are a few sap marks on the roof that I couldn't get out, and maybe we'll have to repaint that at another time. So what I'm gonna do is finish the rest of the car, blend it all in, make it all look beautiful. Make sure when you're done that you put some ceramic coating on and maybe some wax, and this will shine even more.
And that is the final product. Looks so good. I am absolutely in love. Can't wait to get that front hood painted. I still have a little more to do on the roof and on the other side, but as it is, this looks absolutely fantastic. So some of the things I did wrong, I didn't tape this up properly right here. So now I have this nasty scuff on here, which is super annoying. Might be hard to see, but right here, lost control of the machine. It started going all over the place and it cut too deep right here. And that was when I had it on the highest setting with the cotton pad. So really make sure that you control the machine and let it do the work for you instead of pressing too hard, because then it gets out of control. That is the video. We hope you enjoyed. Please make sure to like and subscribe, as we really appreciate it. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. Once again, this is the first time I ever did it, and although I have great results, there might be better ways of doing it. So make sure that you leave it down below what you think I should have done better. Also, please make sure that you check out this tool from ETOOLAB in the links down below. Most of all, we hope you all have an amazing rest of your day, and we'll see you in the next one.